Hey bees, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and today we are making something I'm calling Heavenly Cocoa Lotion. And if you are familiar with the offerings of certain rather luscious company, you may recognize the roots of this particular DIY. So I've had quite a few recipe requests for this particular DIY, and from what I understand, this is a very popular product from the original source. So, not surprising. One of the things that I hear the most often when I get a recipe request for a Lush product is that the requester wants it without the parabens. Understandable. However, the parabens are in there for a reason, and it's because Lush loves to tempt bacterial fate. They put a ton of really hard to preserve ingredients in their products. In this one, there is vanilla-infused water and almond milk. Think about how long you would leave almond milk out on your counter and still drink it. Probably a significantly shorter period of time than you would like your lotion to survive. So that's why there are parabens in the original, because there's a ton of bacterial bug food temptation in there. And, they need to bring out the big guns in terms of the preservatives so that their lotion doesn't turn into a disgusting moldy mess in absolutely no time flat. So in order to drop the parabens, we also need to drop the almond milk and the vanilla infusion, because those are just great big bacterial temptations. So instead, we're going to include vanilla essential oil and almond oil. So we still get some of those notes from the original, but we can happily preserve it with a, maybe not like a bazooka, but just like a rifle of liquid germall plus. I have also included some incredibly fragrant cocoa butter in this. There's only 4% cocoa butter in this recipe, but oh my, do you really get that wonderful cocoa buttery note. I've also added some cocoa bioferment, which is a really neat anti-aging ingredient, but I recognize that it's very weird. It helps with skin firming and with cellulite. I mostly just included it because I bought some a while ago and it's just been sitting there in my pantry being like, what you gonna put me in? I've been like, I don't know. You're kind of a weird ingredient. Most of my readers and viewers won't have you. And so I used it here, but if you don't have it, use a hydrolyzed protein instead. So something like hydrolyzed silk, or another good alternative would be sea kelp bioferment, or you could use like hydrolyzed oat protein. So yeah, there are other options. So don't get hung up on the cocoa bioferment, because I know it's super weird, but I have some and I wanted to use it. Now, the product that inspired this one uses a Dove orchid extract that I have absolutely no idea how to source. I found a couple Dove extracts. No, I found a couple orchid extracts. Dove extract would be gross and weird. On an American website, don't have it, not American, don't want to pay for the shipping, so we're using something else instead. The Dove orchid extract was in there for sort of skin soothing and calming benefits, and we have loads of botanical extracts that we can do that with without hunting down a Dove orchid and extracting it. So I'm using chrysanthemum extract because I just bought some from Voyageur and I wanted to play with it. But you could also use chamomile or green tea would be really good options, or just something that your skin likes would also be a good choice, or just leave it out. That's fine. It's 1% of the recipe, not gonna break it. As with all lotions, we basically combine our water part, combine our oil part, heat them, blend them, and then add our cool down ingredients after it's cooled down, and then voila! Heavenly Cocoa Lotion. So come on, let's go make some. We'll begin by combining our water part and our oil part into two separate containers. So this is a 250 milliliter glass beaker with 84 grams of distilled water in it. And to that, we're going to add 2 grams of vegetable glycerin and 1 gram of chrysanthemum extract. And for our oil part, you're going to need 7 grams of sweet almond oil, 4 grams of the most fragrant cocoa butter you can find, 5 grams of emulsifying wax NF or any other complete emulsifying wax like BTMS 50, Retamulse, or Polawax, and 2 grams of cetyl alcohol. If you don't have cetyl alcohol, just use 2 more grams of cocoa butter. So to melt everything and get our phases ready to be combined, I've got a water bath here, and you'll see a pretty bright pink thing in there. And so this is just like a pink coaster. And so I am experimenting with using this. I found it for sale at a kitchen shop as a double boiler insulator for these beakers, since they have thinner bottoms than these bad boys, which are, as you can sort of see here, way sturdier than these. So I thought that would be kind of a thing to try. I don't know, we'll see. So far it seems to be working reasonably well. But I'm going to go pop this on the stovetop for about half an hour over medium-low heat until everything here is nice and liquid and until this is steaming. All right. So after about 20 minutes, everything has melted through and heated through. You can remove everything from your water bath and you can set your water bath aside. You are done with that. All right, so we're just gonna dry off the outsides of our beakers and measuring cups here. And we will add our water part to our oil part. So you can see that's already becoming milky as it starts to emulsify, which is awesome. So we'll start by giving it a few quick short blasts with our immersion blender. If you blend too long or too enthusiastically, this, as you can see, very thin and still quite hot liquid will just spray everywhere. So be careful. Oops, just like that. All right, well, as you can see, I made a bit of a mess there despite my best efforts to be careful. So this is a 250 milliliter measuring cup, and this is about a 100-gram batch of lotion. So you can see there's plenty of headspace, but clearly not enough. All my 500 milliliter measuring cups are in the wash right now, and I thought I could get away with this, but clearly not the greatest of ideas. So learn from my mistakes, use a larger measuring cup. Anyhow, I'm going to leave this to cool for about 20 minutes before coming back and blending it some more. So 20 minutes later, this is starting to thicken up a bit, but mostly on the top. So I'll blend that to get that to be a little bit more homogeneous. And this is cooling really nicely. The outside of the measuring cup isn't really hot at all, which is great. So honestly, that's looking pretty good and really doesn't feel very warm to the touch. So we can add our cool down ingredients. So we have 1 gram of cocoa bioferment, and this is optional, or you could use hydrolyzed protein instead of it. They don't really do the same thing, but I know cocoa bioferment is kind of weird. So some alternatives there for you. We're gonna do about 20 drops of vanilla essential oil. I don't use vanilla essential oil a lot because it is water soluble, and benzoin is oil soluble, so I find I end up using benzoin a lot more for that vanilla-like note, but vanilla, like the real vanilla stuff, does have a much more vanilla-y scent to it, and I wanted that here. We're also going to add a drop of vitamin E and 0.5% of liquid germall plus. Stir to combine. And I'm going to leave this to continue to cool since it is still a little bit warm and you don't want to bottle a warm lotion. Once your lotion has cooled to room temperature, you are ready to move it to your container. So if you want to sort of keep up the look of it, you can put it in one of these black screw top containers, and I will put the link to these in the description box below. But I just got myself a bunch of squeezy bottles, so I want this lotion in a squeezy bottle. All right, you can pop your lid on there. And there you go. You just made some heavenly cocoa lotion. It smells divine, absorbs into the skin in a flash, and is downright lovely. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and check the description box below for the full written recipe and the links to this recipe on my blog, and I will see you next time.